If the sun were to disappear or stop emitting energy for 10 years, the consequences would be catastrophic for life on Earth. Here's what would happen and the potential impacts. Immediate to weeks. 1. Darkness. Without the sun, Earth would be plunged into total darkness. Solar radiation, which provides daylight and drives weather patterns, would cease. 2. Temperature drop. The Earth's surface would cool rapidly. Within a few days, temperatures would fall below freezing, with the average surface temperature dropping significantly. 3. Photosynthesis stops. Plants rely on sunlight for photosynthesis. Without sunlight, plant life would begin to die off, disrupting ecosystems and food chains. This would quickly affect the oxygen cycle as well. Short-term impact, weeks to months. 1. Freezing oceans. Without the sun, the oceans would begin to freeze over from the surface down. The top layer of ice would act as insulation, slowing the freezing process beneath, but eventually, even the deepest parts of the oceans would freeze. 2. Atmospheric collapse. As temperatures drop, gases in the atmosphere would condense, leading to a thinning atmosphere. The lack of warmth from the sun would result in extreme atmospheric cooling and reduced air pressure. 3. Mass extinctions. Most plant and animal species, including humans, would struggle to survive the extreme cold and lack of food. Food chains dependent on plant life and sunlight would collapse. Long-term impact, over months to years. Global temperatures near absolute zero. After a few years without sunlight, the Earth's temperature would plummet towards absolute zero, minus 273.15 degrees. The atmosphere would likely freeze, and any remaining life would be wiped out. 2. Loss of ecosystems. Ecosystems that rely on solar energy, such as photosynthesis, would completely collapse. Life as we know it, including humans, would face extinction unless alternative forms of energy and food production could be developed. How humans might generate energy. If we were to somehow prepare for such an event, humanity would have to resort to other forms of energy generation. 1. Nuclear power. Nuclear reactors could continue to produce energy. Since they don't rely on sunlight, they could generate heat and electricity at least for a while. 2. Geothermal energy. Geothermal energy could become a crucial source of heat and power. It relies on heat from the Earth's interior, which would take much longer to cool compared to the surface. 3. Fusion energy. If humanity had developed nuclear fusion, this could be a viable energy source. Fusion mimics the processes in the sun and could be an alternative means to generate large amounts of energy. 4. Hydroelectric and wind energy. These would cease to function over time. Hydroelectric power requires flowing water, which would freeze, and wind patterns would stagnate without sunlight to drive weather systems. Survival possibilities. Underground cities. Humans could attempt to live in underground shelters heated by geothermal energy or nuclear reactors. These cities would be insulated from the cold and might have controlled environments. Artificial food production. With sunlight gone, humans would have to rely on artificial indoor farming or lab-grown food. This would require large amounts of energy, potentially from nuclear reactors or geothermal sources. Migration to other planets. If feasible, humanity might try to colonize other celestial bodies, although that would be an enormous technological challenge. Conclusion. If the sun were absent for 10 years, Earth would become an uninhabitable frozen wasteland, and most life would cease to exist. Human survival would depend on extraordinary technological advancements and the ability to harness non-solar energy sources.